In this video, I'll show you how I built an agentic workflow in n8n that uses an AI-powered chatbot to chat with your prospects, gather their details, qualify, score them instantly, and even book appointments so you can focus on closing deals, not chasing leads. So, this system is not just specific for one industry, whether you're in automotive, legal, or healthcare, or real estate, or any other kind of business which relies on lead generation. You can adapt this workflow to fit your needs. Plus, all the resources and templates that I've used in this video are available for you to download for free. So, make sure to watch this video till the end. And without wasting any more time, let's just get started. So let's first start with the demo, right? So in my case, I've built a very simple real estate website, and for this demo also I'm considering a real estate business. And like I said earlier, this system can be applied to any business or any industry. And coming back to this, if I just scroll down a bit, you can see some property listings over here, and at the bottom we have this property inquiry form. So this is where the business tries to gather the users or potential buyers details, and then once you submit all this details, it goes to their backend. They assess the details and then they get back to you, right? So this is how the current process works. So let's see how we can totally ditch this and make this process more conversational and engaging, right? So I have this chatbot over here. So this is the chatbot that I was talking about, which is connected to our n8n agent. Right. So this basically handles whatever this form is currently doing. Right. So it basically gathers all these details and then saves it into a CRM and then continues with the further process. So let's see how everything is being handled by this chatbot. So let's say I'm a potential buyer and I'm trying to buy a villa, maybe. So let's say looking for a villa. Okay, which is great. Are you looking to buy or rent? So I'm trying to buy one. Okay. Interested in new property or resale? New. Okay. Buy new. Is this your first property purchase? Yes. Okay. What's is it, okay, prefer timeline for moving in or closing the deal? So it's asking me for the timeline. Let's say I'm ready next month. Okay. What's your budget range? Probably 500K. Okay. Budget range is between this. It automatically categorized it. Assistance with home loan or financing? No. Okay, okay. May I have your full name? This email address. Let me just mess this up. Let's see what happens. Okay, it automatically added the .com to it. Perfect. Is everything correct? Should I proceed saving this? So let me just confirm all the details again. Property type is villa. Buy. I'm trying to buy. It's a new property. First time purchase, yes. Timeline. There's a budget range. Loan assistance, no. Name, email. Yes. Let's save it. Let's see what happens. Right. So what it did was it just gathered all the details and then saved it into the CRM. So in my case, I'm using an A table as the CRM. Right. So if I just take a look at the last one, so this was the entry which was saved. So it gave me a lead score of 90. I'm trying to purchase a villa. Buy new, yes. There's a timeline and this is the budget range. And if I just go back, it says thank you for providing all the details since you have a strong profile for buying a villa. So based on the score, right? So if you just take a look at it again, so this is the lead score. So this score is calculated based on the responses and the criteria that we have set in the agent, right? So it considers all of that and then assigns a score, and then it sees that it's a very strong score. It's trying to take me forward. It says, could you please let us know when you're free to continue discussing further? So let's say tomorrow. Okay, appointment tomorrow, which is May 14th. Correct. So because today is May 13th, it uh, correctly figured out the date. Yes. Let's see what happens. So okay, it came up with all the slots, right? Here are the available time slots for property viewing. Let me just confirm whether these are the actual slots. So let me just go to my cal.com. This is my cal dashboard, and go to event types. So I just created a simple event here of type of name test. And let me just check the calendar and see and make sure the slots are correct. Right, for 14th. So these are the slots starting from 5:45 a.m. to 10:15 p.m. Yeah, 5:45 a.m. to 10:15 p.m. So these are the slots. These are 15-minute slots, and it says please pick the one that works best for you. So let's say I'll pick the last one, 10:15 p.m. slot. Okay, it's trying to confirm the details before it goes ahead and books everything. So it considers the name and email which I provided earlier, right? And date is this, time is this, and should I proceed? I'd ask it to change my name, like update name to my full name. Okay, updated it, and then this is the date and this is the time, and everything's perfect. Let's say proceed in booking these details. Okay, perfect. It says your appointment has been booked, and confirmation email has also been sent to the same email address. Let me just confirm this. Going back to my cal dashboard, go to bookings. Let me just apply a filter here. Test. Yeah, you can see for 14th May, which is tomorrow, 10:15 to 10:30, an appointment has been booked, and an email would also been sent because I'm using cal and it automatically dispatches the email. Right, perfect. And if I just go back, and that's it. So if you have any further questions, feel free to ask, and happy house hunting. It creates it very well. So perfect. So let me also show you another case where if I don't turn out to be a high intent customer, then I wouldn't be allowed to book an appointment, right? So I'll be stopped in between. So all the information that I give will be saved into the CRM, and then the chatbot says that thank you for providing the details, and then an agent will get back to you very soon. So that's the message that you get back, and you're not allowed to book an appointment if you're not a high intent customer. So let's test that case as well real quick. So let's say I'm looking to buy a duplex. Is this a new property? New? Yes. Um, let's say next year. So this clearly says that I don't have an intention to buy it very soon, right? And options are timeline. Okay, next year, 6+ months. Yes. Budget range. I'll keep it very low, probably 100K or something. Home assistance. Yes. And name. It's this. Email. Let's see what happens. Okay, it's asking me to summarize and confirm this. Okay, let me just confirm these details. So as you can see, it's not very clear that I'm going to purchase this very soon, and the intention is very weak. So let's see how this handles this. Yeah. So it says thank you for providing all the details. An agent from your team will reach out to you soon to discuss property options. Right. Even if I try to say like book me an appointment, it wouldn't let me do it, right? So it says an agent from our team will reach out to you soon to discuss the property options, right? And if I take a look at this one, If I just refresh this, so this was the score that I was given. So it was given 35, which is a very low score, right? So based on this, um, I wouldn't be let to book an appointment, and I'd be stopped. And this is how this flow is set up, and this is how it works, right? So this is how you can use an AI powered chatbot to gather all the details, qualify them, score them instantly, and also book appointments if they turn out to be a high intent customer, right? Perfect. So we can do all of this on autopilot, and there's no human intervention in between. So you should only be worried about closing the deals, and the rest of it all is completely handled by our chatbot. Right. Perfect. So this was about the demo, and let's proceed to the next section. These are the topics that we'll be covering today in this video. So the first section was demo that we have completed, and then the second one is addressing problem and use cases. So we'll see what are the problems, current problems, and how our AI smart AI chatbot can help with that, and also potential use cases of this kind of solution, right? After that, we'll see how everything works. We'll see how we set up n8n as backend and n8n for the front end to build the widget and embed it into websites, right? And after that, we'll basically walk through the workflow itself on n8n, and we'll also talk a little bit about the router workflow architecture from Anthropic, so because that's the underlying architecture of our workflow. And after that, we'll see how you can set it up yourself, and template will also be provided in the description below so that you can download and set it up for yourself. And after that, we'll also see the possible upgrades and improvements that we could do to our current system, right? So these are the topics that we'll be touching upon today. So starting with the second topic, which is addressing problem and use cases, right? So what's the current problem that we are seeing right now? So most businesses still rely on static web forms to collect inquiries and leads, right? So you've seen that static form, that's very common in most of the businesses. They still use it, and these forms are impersonal, lead to drop-offs, and require manual sorting and follow-up, right? So usually they are very static, and if it's too long, then usually it leads to a lot of drop-offs in between, and it's not really engaging, and which delays response times, right? And loses potential customers. So what happens is, first of all, the drop offs will increase. So even if users fill out the form and send it over, the backend team takes time to access all the details, and then after that they'll get back. So this causes delays in response time, and the customer might lose interest meanwhile, right? So that's the problem. And so what's the solution? So this workflow replaces static forms with an AI powered conversational chatbot that engages prospects in real time, collects all the necessary details, qualifies and scores leads instantly, and even books appointments for high quality leads all automatically. So we've seen this in the demo that we can totally ditch the old school form, train the chatbot to ask for the same details from the user step by step in a conversational manner. And once it gathers all the details, it saves that into the CRM, and then it qualifies the lead based on the response, right? It assigns a score to the user, and if the user turns out to be a high intent or highly qualified user, then we end up taking them towards the appointment booking process. And all of this happens automatically, and there's no human intervention anywhere um, in between. So this is one such solution. And what are the potential use cases for this type of solution? The first one is real estate that we've already seen. Qualify buyers or renters, score their intent, and auto schedule property viewings. We can do that. And if you consider automotive industry, then you can gather buyer preferences, qualify leads, and book test drives. Similarly, you can do this for legal or consulting industry, right, where you intake client details, qualify cases, and schedule consultations. And if you're doing this for education, then it would look like collecting student inquiries, qualify interest, and book counseling sessions, right? So these were some of the industries that could benefit from this kind of solution. And lastly, any business, right? We can use the solution in any business, any industry that collects leads or appointments, that adapt this system for smarter, faster, and more personalized kind of engagement. So this was about the problem and how an AI chatbot can resolve this problem and serve as a solution. And we've also seen some of the use cases where we can just deploy this kind of solution and benefit from it, right? So going to the next section, which is how it works. So it's actually a combination of backend and frontend, and where we'll be using n8n as backend and n8n chatui.com for the frontend. Right. So the real magic happens behind the scenes with n8n, which runs all the logic and connects everything together. So we'll go through the n8n workflow as well. But like I said, n8n is acting like a backend where all the logic is placed, and all the necessary actions that needs to be taken are initiated from the backend, and these data is securely saved to airtable. So this is basically talking about the crm part, where all the lead details that is gathered by your chatbot is saved into the crm. So in my case, I'm using airtable. This could be anything. It could be HubSpot or Salesforce, or any kind of crm that you use. You can use that, and we use cal.com to actually manage and store all the appointments, so everything is synced and reliable. So we are basically talking with cal.com's apis to manage the appointments part, and n8nchatui.com gives you a chat widget for your widget. So this is the front end part. So using n8nchatui.com, you can just build a widget for your n8n workflow, and you can just embed it into any website without having to write a single line of code. So I'll talk about that also in a bit. So this was about high level architecture of what all components are involved in this build. And going to the next topic, which is the workflow walkthrough. So let's actually go to our n8n dashboard and see how everything looks like. So before I talk about this workflow in detail, I would like to first touch upon the architecture that's behind this build. So if we just go to this beautiful article by Anthropic, and if you just scroll down a bit, you'll come across this type of architecture, which is called as routing. So this is the architecture that we are using in this build. So if you just see, there's a router in between. So between input and output, these are the components that are involved. So the first one is the router. So router is responsible for taking the input, and then it decides which relevant agent to route the request to. Right. So you have three different LLMs or agents, you can just say, and then it takes in the requests. It analyzes the intention of the user query, and also looks at the conversation history before making that decision. And once it decides the intention, it basically forwards the request to that relevant agent. So this is how the architecture looks like, and we have used the similar kind of architecture in our build as well. So if you just take a look at this, we have the same kind of structure over here. So we have this chat trigger node, which takes in the input, and we have a router agent, as we've seen. And this is where we are just creating different paths, and each one of these is leading to a different agent. So on top, we have this lead qualification plus scoring agent. So this agent is responsible for qualifying user and also assigning a score based on the responses that was given by the user. And it's connected to a tool which is airtable save lead. So this is a tool that it uses internally to save the details into airtable. And after that, we have the second agent is called a property viewing scheduler agent. So this is responsible for handling appointment bookings, right? So it's connected to two different agents again. So one is retrieving available free slots from database. So this tool gets the free slots which are available based on the calendar, right? And after that, this tool is responsible for actually saving the appointment. So it books the appointment. And after that, we have this concierge agent. This is basically a fallback agent. If user tries to talk about something other than property related stuff, then all of those requests would just go to this agent, and this agent handles it gracefully and then just points user back to the main objective of this flow, which is to help users in property search, right? So that's what this agent does. And all of these agents are connected to a single memory node. so that each agent is aware of what's happening in the conversation, right? So that's why we do this. So this is like a high level architecture or high level overview of the flow. Let's actually dig deep into each one of these and understand what's exactly happening. So starting from this, we have nothing to do over here. It's just a simple chat trigger node. And after this, we have set credentials node. So this is where we actually set the values that are going to be used further down by other agents in the flow. So this one cal event type ID. So this is basically the ID of the calendar that you're trying to book appointments in. And you can get it if you just go to your cal.com dashboard, and you can just create a event type here, and if you just select that one, and on top over here in the URL bar you get to see the ID of this calendar. You can just copy paste that over here. And cal API key, similarly you can go to your dashboard again, go to settings and go to API keys, and then you can just create one over here and paste it. And current date, time and time zone, so these are the two important variables that are required uh, to manage appointment booking. So these needs to be set appropriately, otherwise the flow would just break. So I'll talk about this in the upcoming sections, but yeah, so these are the four different variables that we need to initiate in order for the system to work well. After this, we have this router agent. So this is the first agent that takes in the user input and then decides which agent to route the request to, right? So here in this, we have clearly defined all the instructions within the system prompt on how to identify user query and user intention, right? And we have three different types of values that we expect this router agent to output. Right? For example, if the user is expressing interest in real estate services like buying, renting, learning about properties and things like that, and we have also specified some examples over here. If the query matches any of these type of requests, then we know that it needs to go to the lead qualification agent. So that's why we use this lead qual. So this is the key. So this key will be provided as output, and we can use that later on to just divert the request to different agents, right? So again, we have this book. This particular section talks about the intention of booking, right? The process of booking an appointment, providing or clarifying appointment details and things like that. So if the query or intention is around appointment booking, then it outputs this word called as book. And similarly, we have examples defined. And for the last case, which is the conversation, so if user is trying to engage in general conversation, right, and if they're trying to ask anything which is not related to our main goal, which is related to property search, then it would just spit out this word called as conversation, right? And here are some examples. Let's say if user says tell me a joke, or how are you today, or something irrelevant, then it's just going to spit out this word called as conversation. So here are some rules that are defined here. So it says always use the entire conversation history and latest messages to determine the intent. And then similarly, we have defined some strict rules and examples as well. And if user says I'm looking to buy a house in Austin, so it should just spit out this lead qual, and my budget is around 700K. So these are all intentions around property search. So it spits out this lead qual. And similarly, we have all the other examples. So it says strict rule: your output must be a single word. Either it's going to be lead qual, book, or conversation. So it's going to be always any one of these three words, right? And then what we're going to do is we're going to consider that within a switch block. So it enters into a switch block, and then this is where we actually compare the output. So if the output is lead qual, then we pass the request to our lead qualification plus scoring agent. Or if the output is book, then we pass it to our appointment booking agent. And in the fallback case, we have a fallback case over here, which just takes to our conversational concierge agent, which just handles the request which is not relevant to our main objective, right? So this is how it goes. And within this one, let's start from this lead qualification and scoring agent. So if we just open the system prompt here, so I'm just going through this real quick because anyway, we're going to get this template. You can take a look at it at your side. So I'm just going through this fast. So you are a real estate qualification and scoring assistant, and I've given it some context, and these are the sequence of steps that it needs to follow. It first greet and explain what it does, and after that, ask for these information, right? For example, starting from here, what type of property are you interested in? What are you looking to buy or rent? Looking for a new property or resale? Is this your first property purchase? And timeline, budget range, full name, email address, right? Once it gathers all these details in a sequential manner, then we just summarize the details to the user and show them. And once they confirm all the details, what we do is we do this internal lead scoring, and we clearly specify that do not display or disclose to user. This is really important, otherwise it would just say you got a score of 80, you got a score of 90, which is not relevant to user, right? They don't need to worry about that. This is something internal. Then we have our scoring mechanism defined here. So if the property type is apartment, then give a score of 10. If it's villa, give a score of this. If it's commercial, give a score of 10. Similarly, we have defined for all other attributes, right? It's out of 100. So it's all customized. And after that, we have defined a example as well on how to define a good score and how to add them up, right? 90 is considered to be a high score, and 35 is considered to be a low score, and this is where we set the threshold. So high score is 60 or above, and low score is anything below 60 is considered to be low score. After we do this internal scoring, what we do is we just save the lead details after confirmation, right? So we use this Airtable save lead tool, right? The tool that I talked about, I'll show you in a bit. So we use this tool to talk to Airtable and save all the details that the lead has provided, along with the score, right? So I've mentioned that somewhere over here. Yeah, save all answers and internal score using this tool. And after that, what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the response that the Airtable tool gives us, and then that response also has the score. So we're going to use that to divert or route the user to the next relevant action, which is if the user has got a high score which is greater than or equal to 60, then we prompt the user to continue to book appointment booking. So this is an example for that. So thank you for providing all the details. Could you please let us know when you're free to continue discussing further? And then once they get this message and then they say yes, the intention completely shifts from property to appointment booking, and this is clearly analyzed and detected by our router agent, and then the router agent passes the request directly to our appointment booking agent from then on. So this is how we shift the intention from one point to another, right? So if the score is less, which is less than 60, then we just say thank you for your request, an agent from our team will reach out to you soon to discuss your property options. So this and we just put a break over there. That's it. And then we have defined some behavior rules over here, and if they never repeat or re-ask the same information again and again, and never display or discuss the internal lead score, which is really important. And we have defined a tool usage, so clearly telling it what tools this agent is connected to. It's connected to one tool, Airtable save lead, and a little description of it. And if I just go back, explore this tool again. So this is a very simple and straightforward way of setting up a tool, right? You have this Airtable node already on n8n. You can just drag and drop and select this operation to create, and you can select the base table that you're using, and after that values to send. So this is where you can define this expression. It's called from AI. So it basically uses an LLM underneath to extract the information that's already provided by the user, right? So you give it a key name and then a little description of what you're exactly trying to extract from the model, right? And similarly, just I'm just doing this for all the attributes that's being saved into our Airtable table, and that's it. So this should basically extract all the information and send it over to Airtable to be saved. Next, talking about the property viewing scheduler agent. So this probably I'll just go through it very quickly because I've covered this specific one, appointment booking agent, in another video. Probably I'll just link it on top, or I'll provide the video link in the description as well, so that you can just check it out after watching this video. So I'm not going to go through this in detail, but I'll just quickly cover this. So this is responsible for gathering details that's necessary for booking an appointment, right? It talks to cal.com's APIs and passes all the details to the API in order to book an appointment, right? So the goal is, again, it's very simple. It need to ask for name, email, and a specific date. Right? It can also read tomorrow, Wednesday, this Friday, and it can interpret that very easily. And all of this happens because we are providing the current date time over here, right? We are injecting it, we are actually picking it from the set credentials, right? Remember, we set the initial variables that we use, and that's where we define two variables: current date time and time zone. So we are just injecting that into the prompt so that it clearly interprets what Friday, tomorrow, next Thursday, next Monday, something like that means, right? So similarly, I've defined all the rules that it needs to follow, and handling data interpretation and things like that. So it does it automatically by itself. And again, it's connected to two different tools. So these are basically HTTP request nodes. The first one makes a request to cal.com's API to get all the free slots based on the date that user provided, and the second one actually goes ahead and books an appointment on that date. That's it. So like I said, this, if you want to specifically see how this agent or this flow is built, then I'll give you the link in the description. It's called appointment booking chatbot, and that's an in-depth video around this topic, right? And then the last one is just concierge agent. So this is like a fallback agent. Like I said, this is like a friendly real estate assistant, and define some goals over here. And if user asks anything unrelated to property search or real estate, just say some good things and then point them back towards the main objective, main goal. And similarly, I just defined all other rules over here, strict boundaries as well. So never answer general questions like news, weather, jokes, recipes, and things like that. And define some tone guidelines, behavior rules as well. And I'm also inserting the current date time, which is not really necessary, but still I'm just injecting it over here. I don't think this the agent ever uses it, but still. Yep. So that's it. I didn't go through the prompts in detail because anyway you're gonna get this template and you can take a look at it in detail. So this is how everything works underneath. So this is the flow. And talking about this memory, yeah, this it's a simple one. So the context window length is set to 50, so that it can just accommodate as many messages as possible, so that we still maintain the context, right? And if you're using this in production, probably it's a good idea to replace this with something more reliable and persistent. For example, you can just use Postgres memory node, so that everything gets stored into the Postgres database. Perfect. So let me just save this, go back, and this was about the walkthrough of our workflow. Right. Going to the next section, which is how can you set it up yourself. Right. Template is provided, like I said. So what you have to do is first download the ready-made template and get started. Right. Um, so make it your own. So this workflow is specifically done for a real estate business, and of course you can just replace the existing ones with your own style and to match it with your own business purpose, right? So you can do that. You can completely update it to match your business purpose. And after that, so that's about the backend. And talking about the front end, you have two different ways. One is the most simple and straightforward way, which is to use n8n So if you just go to n8nchatui.com, so this is where you get to build a personalized widget for your n8n workflow that you can connect to your n8n workflow very easily. So you can see a demo over here on the landing page, and you can just sign in to create and save n number of widgets, right? So you can just create as you wish. matching with your brand and theme. So you can just customize every little detail, like the bubble, the title, the, the title. You can change the color schemes, buttons, and almost everything. That once you're happy with it, all you have to do is just copy this code over here, and then I'm going to use this one, the existing one. Just paste that code into your website. So if you're using any website builders like Wix, Webflow, or WordPress or anything, so every website builder has this feature of embedding code. So where you can just embed this code, and then all you have to do is just replace this part with your chat trigger nodes webhook URL. For example, let me just connect to this n8n. Let me go to my n8n dashboard, and let me just quickly connect that newly created chatbot with the simple one. So I have the simple chatbot over here. So what I have to do is just click on this chat trigger node, make it public, and select the mode from hosted chat to embedded chat. Then I just have to click on this to copy that, and once I've copied, click on save, and let me just close this and make sure this is active. Yep. Okay, this workflow is now active. So what I need to do is just come back over here. So this is the code that I just copied a little while ago. And what I have to do is just replace this with my chat trigger nodes webhook URL. Right. And then if I just refresh my website, so this is the one which I saw over here, right? Remember this one? And the exact same widget with the same styling appeared on my website, and I can just have conversations with it. If I say hi, yeah, it replies back because it's connected to our n8n agent here. And if I just take a look at the executions, yep. So this was the agent, and got this hi as request, and this was the response, and this is the same thing that you're seeing here, right? So this is how easily you can just create a chat embed, personalized to match your brand or website, and connect it to your n8n agent, all without having to write a single line of code, right? So you don't have to write anything. It's as simple as that, right? Perfect. So let me just get back. So this is one way, which is set up using n8nchatui.com. And then the other way is again, if you're not using n8nchatui.com, then you would have to build your own front end, right? Front end to talk to your n8n workflow. And these two steps are common in both ways, both approaches, which is to just replace the event type ID, and cal API key, right? Because these are my keys, and of course I'm going to revoke this after I publish this video. All you have to do is just replace these with yours, and current date, time, and time zone. So current date, time, you can just leave it as it is. Current date, time, and time zone, you can just leave it as it is if you are using n8nchatui.com approach. But if you're not using it, then all you have to do is just replace this Asia Calcutta with your values right over here in both variables. So the way we are setting these two variables is programmatically done. So there are two parts in it. So the first part takes a look at the value which is sent by n8nchatui.com. So that widget automatically sends the current date, time of the user without you having to do anything along with each message. So it picks it up from there. So it works fine. But if you're not using n8nchatui.com, and you have your own front end, then you need to make sure to set these values up, right? You need to define your time zone over here in both cases, right? And it's covered for both, right? So both these values, first check for the value if it's already being sent by the widget, right? If it's not being sent by it, then it falls back to the second case. This is where you have to define or make sure to handle the right time zone of the user, right? That's it. Otherwise, if you just don't want to deal with that hassle, then just use n8nchatui.com. It's completely free tool, and you don't have to worry about anything else. That's it. Perfect. Let's go to the next topic, which is possible upgrades and improvements that you could do. Right. So talking about the first point, which is multi-channel support. Not just a chatbot that you can embed into your website. You can also connect this workflow with your WhatsApp, SMS, or Facebook Messenger, or email, right? Where users can have conversations just like they do on a chatbot, and then the process relies the same because the backend is always going to be the same. All you're changing is this the front end part, right? After that, dynamic scoring. So incorporate external data enrichment tools like LinkedIn or other proprietary databases to refine lead scores. So currently what's happening is we are just hard coding the values within our system prompt over here. If I just take a look at this, so inside this table I'm just defining the scores, right, based on the response types. What we can do is we can just enrich or take it to a next level by connecting our agent to our LinkedIn or probably Apollo or clay.com or something like that, where users, when they provide their email address, it makes a request to those services and then gets more details about the user, right? Their like, company profile, and looks at their business details, and then uses that uses those details to basically score the user, right? We can do that. It's an advanced level scoring. And after that we have this personalized follow-ups, to basically increase the show up rate. So you can automate tailored email or SMS follow-ups based on the lead score or preferences. So what you can do is inside this workflow, within this one, so after a lead is saved, create more flows, or extend this flow basically to add more steps to do some personalized follow-ups, like using the user data that we just retrieved from our enrichment process or something like that. So since you have this base template, you can just extend it as you wish. So it's not just limited to these points which are mentioned over here. You can just use and adapt it to your requirement. So the next point is drip campaigns for low scoring leads. What we can do is, along with them being pushed into the CRM, what we can do is we can also push them into a nurturing sequence, basically a campaign where we just keep sending educational and informational emails every now and then, and we just keep doing that until they just become a customer, right? So that's another advancement that we can do to our current system. I think that's it. Thank you so much for watching this video till the end. I think again it was a very lengthy video because I had a lot of things to explain. But if you got confused anywhere in between, just feel free to let me know. You can even email me directly. Check out n8nchatui.com and launch your widget in minutes for free. So I've shown you a very quick demo of how you can build and connect a chatbot widget with your n8n workflow and embed it into your website, right? Or you can do all of that within a couple of minutes, and the tool is also free to use, right? And you can work with me to build practical workflows, automations, and AI solutions, right? Or if you're unsure of how AI can benefit you and your business, you can book a free consultation call, and also I've provided the link in the description section. You can use that. Yeah, this is that link, and you can download resources that I've used in this video for free. So I think it's just going to be the workflow, the n8n workflow. Other than that, I don't think I need to share anything else. If I had to, I'll just put it in the same link, maybe, where you can just download all of them at once. And yes, and what would you like to see next? Just let me know. And hope you liked this video, and hope you learned something new. So thank you so much for watching this video till the end, and I really appreciate your patience. And I'll see you again in another video. Until then, take care. Goodbye.